This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, I guess I'll call the meeting to order. Someone want to do the roll call for me?
I can, or
Okay, I would appreciate that.
are we supposed to do that, or are y'all supposed to do that?
Well, I guess I can do it. I'm chairing this meeting in place of Adam, who normally runs the meeting. So I'm new at this committee to run the meeting. Okay, I can go by way of the people who were, should I go by who's listed on the last meeting? On last minutes?
Everyone but Hillary.
All right. Adam is not here. George Mason, I'm here. Marshall Gilson. Hillary Evans. Joel Looper.
Here.
Justin Eastwood.
I'm here.
Adam Means.
He's here.
Tyler Mark.
Here.
Betty Bridges.
Dory Smith in place of Betty Bridges.
Yvette Robinson.
Here.
Randy Cranfield.
Here.
Okay. Thank you. Move on.
Chip Egger is here.
Okay. All right. Citizens may speak on items listed on the agenda as items for individual consideration. A request to speak card should be completed and returned to the board secretary before the board considers the item listed items for individual consideration. Citizen comments on items for individual consideration are limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anyone who's requested that? As far as I know, there aren't any.
Nope.
All right, move on to item A, the receive a report, hold a discussion and take action on approving the minutes from the Parks and Rec Commission meeting held January the 13th, 2020. Any comments or discussion? I have a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll second that.
I need someone to give me a first motion.
Yes. Sorry.
Do we have a second?
I think that would be you, Joel.
Pardon me?
Joel would have to second that.
I'll second.
Thank you, Joel.
Mike was.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? There being none, then the minutes are accepted as written. Item B, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on electing a Parks and Recreation Commission chair and vice chair, each to serve a one-year term. Someone want to address that, or is that up to me?
Anyone on the commission could nominate.
Okay. Any nominations?
I mean, being this is my second meeting, I mean, I still getting familiar with the members, you know, so
So out of we have Marshall, Geisen, we have George Mason, and Joel Looper.
Well,
So one of you will have to be a chair and one will have to be a vice chair. Who would like to be the chair?
I'll be the chair. I'll be the sacrificial lamb.
Thank you, Mr. Mason.
And I'll be vice.
Joel, I guess that means you're going to be the vice chairman.
Marshall volunteered.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
Excellent. Okay,
And I don't mind, just I'm just thinking about my schedule stuff. But
that's
I don't
okay.
mind at all.
Any more nominations? From the silence, I'll take that as a no. We take a vote on this or just ask for a motion?
I believe you take a vote, right?
All right.
I nominate George for the chair.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. For the vice chairman's position, Marshall, correct?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Congratulations, Marshall. You win.
Yeah.
All right. That being settled, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on setting dates for future Parks and Recs Commission board meetings. I noticed that we were sent a flyer today showing the possible dates. I have no preference really. Anybody out there have a preference of those five?
I think that's good for me. I mean, the 115, if that will work.
Which one? I've got one that's August 13th and January 14th, 2021, September 10th, 2020, and February 11th, 2021, October 8th, 2020, and March 11th, 2021.
Yeah.
That's the one you would prefer?
Yeah, that's the one I was referring to. Because I think the times are like all 115.
If I may step in, so the meetings that have the asterisk next to them, those are the quarterly meetings that are required. So we plan to meet 4 times a year
Okay.
Right.
within the commission. Beyond that, there's other meetings that are going to be tentative. Not necessary that we have to meet during those times, but there may be things that come up that we would want to run by the commission. So for
Okay.
example, staff is working on park ordinances. That may or may not be something that we get on the quarterly agenda, but we may ask if it couldn't get on the quarterly agenda, if we could meet one of those other pre-scheduled meeting dates. Brandy would be in contact with our chair weeks in advance to communicate if that would be required or not.
All right. I wasn't real clear on what this document represented. Thank you.
Mhm.
So those will be the tentative dates
Mm-hmm.
unless something happens. Correct?
That is correct. So the 4 are the required ones,
Yep.
and then the other ones are just going to be on the calendar if needed.
If needed, yes. Okay. Gotcha. So may not. Okay.
All right.
Historic Parks and Rec is met quarterly.
Gotcha.
Well, let's see Parks and Recs Commission meeting that often. Thank you. That's a good thing. Any discussion, further discussion or comments about this?
I'm fine with that, having those tentative dates
Do we need to vote on this or just
if
accept it?
needed.
Yes,
We do need to vote on it?
yes.
All right. In favor, say aye and your name.
Joel Looper in favor.
Marshall Geisen in favor.
George Mason in favor. Opposed? Hearing none, then the motion is carried. Thank you. All right, moving on to item D. Receive a report, hold a discussion, and make recommendations to the city council as to potential candidates to fill the current vacancy on the Parks and Recreation Commission. I had received a submission from one person Mr. Jason Blankenship. I don't know, have you all had a chance to review that?
I did look at it.
That I being whom? Joel?
Joel, sorry, yes.
Okay.
I didn't know him or anything. Not that I have to, but
Okay, Marshall, have you reviewed that?
Yes, sir.
Any comments from anybody? Personally, I think it's good we have someone who wants to be on the commission.
mhm.
That's very welcome. Any comments from the board? The council? Anyone? Or can I have a motion to accept this person as a member of the advisory committee?
I motion to accept.
A second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone else? Had an aye from Joel.
Oh,
Marshall?
we said it at the same time. It was unanimous.
Okay.
Yeah.
And George Mason, aye. Those opposed? There being none, I hope someone will welcome Mr. Blankenship to the committee. Is it up to me or one of you?
We have to send it, we have to put it on council agenda.
Okay. Should I be at the council meeting when this is presented?
You don't necessarily have to.
Okay.
It's not required, but we could definitely send it to you when that item does make it to the agenda.
Okay, very good. Okay. That was item D. Item E, receive a report and hold a discussion on Parks and Rec Department updates as related to COVID-19.
Yeah, I can start with that. Thanks again for meeting with us, especially in this capacity. I know this is definitely the new norm. What we wanted to talk about briefly is what Parks and Recreation looks like now. We haven't met since the pandemic has taken place. So I'm gonna not take too much of your time, but I'm gonna start with kind of talking about budget and our vision. So as you know, our fiscal year is October, the 1st of October through the end of September. With all this happening, the city as a whole decided to best help with, moving our city forward, being the best ambassadors for our community as far as finances go, being fiscally responsible. We decided to go and take a 10% cut with all the operational budgets. That includes Parks and Recreation. So as far as how that relates in the grand scheme of things, obviously people know we deal with events, which is a regular thing. However, beyond that, we also, beautification is essentially under our umbrella, not just parks, but we handle the city landscape as well. We also deal with our cemeteries. So there are things that are going to be a little bit different moving forward, especially with big hit. That's probably not a good way to say it, but because everything was so compressed this fiscal year, it's going to have a bigger impact, which maybe you have or have not noticed, but those things are only taking place. Beyond that, fiscal year 21 staff has done a lot of work moving forward through next year. We're also going to be taking a 10% cut across our foundational budget, and that'll be a little bit more manageable because that's spread out throughout 12 months, of course. That said, I think that's a good transition into vision. Our vision has not and will not change. We are still going to try to provide quality parks, facilities, and services that enhance the quality of life for our citizens. This staff in this room in particular has been extremely diligent and has been very creative as far as figuring out different ways to have events, and then different ways to beautify our parks and maintain programs for the community. That's my point.
All right. Are we going to receive a report from the various groups within Parks and Rec?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Excellent.
so that would be at this point, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, who wants to go first?
We're going to do project updates.
Okay, so probably the one that everybody's most interested in is Haiti Trail. I'll give an update on that. Construction's going really well, considering that we broke ground in January, and here we are in winding down July. And we're looking at having it completed around the end of September. And so right now they're finishing laying the concrete, and then we'll go in and we'll have the pavement marking installed, the amenities such as the shade structures and the benches, installed after that. And then we are looking at trying to plan a grand opening of the trail, tentatively set for sometime in October at this point.
Great.
So I had a question. I think I heard you right. Did you say it was going to be completed in September?
Yes.
Okay.
For phase one, we are anticipating completion being at the end of September.
Okay. Phase one. Okay. Perfect.
Phase two, are there any more questions on phase one?
I'm just curious about whether or not there's any news from TxDOT on the roundabout.
So that is something that we are coordinating with on through Public Works, and I believe that is something that they're still working on the design. We're real close to having the design determined on that, and we have coordinated with the construction company to do a slight trail shift at that intersection to accommodate that roundabout.
So they hope to have that done by the end of September as well?
On the trail shift, yes. The roundabout, that'll probably be several more months in the making on that.
Okay. When are they going to blast away the bridge abutment down at the end?
Okay, so they're actually out to bid right now on the bridge, and so we're anxiously anticipating that installation within the next few months.
What, you probably don't understand what I'm talking about. Down before you get to Waterloo Lake Road, there's a huge hunk of concrete sitting down there.
Yes.
I guess that used to be the support on that end for the bridge at one time.
Yes.
How are they going to get that out of there?
I haven't really visited with them on that. I don't know if that will be used for filler or if they'll actually use a crane and lift that out of there. I'm not sure, but I can find out more information on that.
That should be fun to watch.
Yes. The bridge installation will be.
Report. Thank you.
So if there's no more questions, I'll talk about Haiti Trail Phase 2. So we did receive a notification that we were not awarded the funding on that at this time. We're revamping the application on that, and we'll submit that in January again. We are talking in coordination with the Phase 3 water line installation of having a provisional surfacing put in place so that that Phase 2 will still be accessible for trail users until we can secure the funding to continue with the concrete.
Can I ask a question about Phase 2?
Yes.
There is an old trestle halfway down through that portion.
Yes.
Something in Phase 2 going to be done to accommodate a little safer passage on that?
So we have had the engineers look at that, and they have deemed that that is safe to use. So we are going to be doing some slight modification to that so that it will be safe for pedestrians to go across that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions on Haiti Trail?
Yeah, this might be a crazy question. Where does it start?
Okay, so phase 1 runs from Day Street to Loy Lake Drive, and then phase 2 runs from Loy Lake Drive, continuing south to just past Spur 503.
Okay, Lower Lake to 503. Okay.
So the
Is there
trail
any-
will actually go underneath the bridge there at Spur 503.
Okay.
Where
there
is-
any-
Go ahead, George. I'm sorry.
Is there any movement on the access from Day Street up to Crawford Street?
So that is something that we have been meeting with and trying to determine the best options to make access from Day Street going back north to Crawford. Yes.
Okay, great. Will there be a parking lot here and there, or?
That is something that is also on the table that's being discussed and trying to figure out the best solution for that.
Okay, thank you.
That was going to be my question. It looks like at the top of Day Street where the railroad tracks are, that they started with concrete like there was going to be maybe 5 to 6 parking spots, but then they built the curb. So it looks like they've already poured the mold for the curb, even though there is parking, unless that's maybe.
That will not be parking. That is just trail access.
Okay, so it's just a larger entrance poured right there.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
I think the objective was to prevent people from driving their autos into that trail.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Can't imagine anybody doing that.
Yeah.
Thank you for your report.
So we have one other project that I'd like to talk a little bit about, Waterloo Lake Regional Park. So we had a grant that we had applied for a few years ago, and we've received the funding, and we have finally finalized the design and are out to bid right now. Bid closing will be July 29th, and then we will award the bid and construction will begin on that project. So if you will visualize with me at the lake, the north end of the lake, from the boat ramp down. So if you're going northwest, just before you enter into the wood,
Yeah.
we're going to be putting in 12-foot wide concrete trail.
Nice.
We'll also be including a new pedestrian bridge, and then it'll be ADA accessible. Of course, it's 12-foot wide, so that makes it a multi-shared use trail path. And then we'll be doing some improvements to the parking lot as well.
Very good. That trail ends at the bridge that goes into the woods, down past the Wildflower Garden.
Before you go into the woods, that first pedestrian bridge that you come across that goes over the little creek there, one that will be being replaced.
Okay,
Okay.
gotcha. Well, that'll be good because that part of the trail there has always been a little wonky as for traveling if you're running or walking. So that'll be a good thing. Thank you. Any other questions? Do we have reports from anyone else?
Next is aquatics.
So my report is on Waterloo Pool. So we canceled several events that were scheduled post-COVID to account. And so we do have a higher than normal usage from older people. And so we kind of, from day one of the shutdown, the management team really jumped in with both feet to make sure that we had all our cleaning processes and disinfection and safety for our patrons was priority. We are now back open at limited use on by reservation only for lap swim, hydro fitness, small group fitness classes, swim teams, swim lessons, and private lessons. With the over hundreds of pools all across the state of Texas shut down, I'm one of the few that are still open, and we've done so safely and with some success. We are not open for recreation from at the time, but plans are to reopen when in the fall when school comes back. Staff cleaning, all the staff are masked, and we do hotspot cleaning all throughout the day. We've done all kinds of research to make sure that we have EPA approved cleaning processes and solutions in place to sanitize. We back and had to check a couple of things because there was a recall on a lot of the cleaning equipment, the cleaning solutions. So we've already made sure that we're on top of that. We've installed some barriers and done some remodeling in the front office of the pool so that everybody can come in safely. We're looking at some different signage and different things going on in the future, and I believe that we're going to be getting a new front door, a touchless door. But we did open the summer. Drowning rates have increased significantly since COVID has happened. There have been over 547 deaths in the last 3 months for drowning, and there was like even one this weekend at Lake Texoma. And so we knew it was essential to get drowning safety and stuff top of mind with our people. So we opened up small group swim lessons. We filled up all the spots except for 12, I believe, for the we went from 4 sessions down to 3, and so we only had 12 empty spots total, and they were all in higher level swim lessons. So all the they all filled up.
Okay, any questions? Comments? No, then we'll move on to the next person is in charge of an area of Parks and Rec.
The next person would be Andrew.
Okay.
Good afternoon, gentlemen. So I'm going to give everybody an update on our programs. We're going to jump back in our time machines and go back to January. So January 24th to the 26th, we hosted our 37th annual Snowball Classic. And we had 62 teams that participated in that tournament. And that event generated over $37,000 in revenue from registrations, gate fees, concessions, ball sales, etc. So one of our bigger snowball events in history. On February 1st, we held our 16th annual Family Fellowship Trout Derby, and we had a record crowd of over 125 people that participated in that event. And then the 21st annual U Trout Derby was held on February 22nd. We had 75 kids that participated in that event. And we held our first annual Daddy-Daughter Dance on February 28th. And it was quite a successful event. We held that at the Snap Center and had 130 people participate in that event. So that was a great kickoff for our inaugural Daddy-Daughter Dance. And then something called COVID-19 came in and definitely affected some of our larger activities and programs for the spring and summer season. Unfortunately, we had to cancel our Denison Girls Softball and T-Ball League this year. Also, Denison Dream Camp was canceled because of COVID. And then our Adult Kickball League. And then our famous Easter egg hunt that produced massive numbers in year 1, unfortunately, was canceled as well, along with the new event, the Easter egg glow hunt that we were looking at having this year. So COVID's definitely had an effect with us. It's also affected other spring leagues at THF Park, such as Denison Little League, TSA Soccer, League of Soccer, not to mention about 10 plus tournaments that we were scheduled this spring and summer. So definitely had a large impact on our programming. Some alternate programming that we did put in place was some drive-in movies. We actually hosted a couple of drive-in movies in coordination with Main Street, and those were in lieu of a couple of Music on Main series that were canceled initially because of the event. So on May 29th and June 5th, we hosted 2 drive-in movies at Forest Park. The first, we had pretty good participation. The second, not quite as much, but just an alternative program that we could offer, with COVID going on. We also got pretty creative. I know Yvette did a great job with doing some different types of social media activities that people can really take advantage of, you know, from their homes during the downtime. And some of those events were scavenger hunts, spirit week, crossword puzzles, Sudoku challenges, riddles, social distancing tips, etc. Some events that we rescheduled because of COVID was a catfish rodeo. We actually just had that on the 27th, but I'll update the numbers in the next meeting. We had to move the inclusive playground ceremony at THF Park to August 15th to go along with our annual birthday bash. And then our mother-son superhero party, we have not set a date yet. The Battle of Waterloo 5K, 10K annual race, we pushed back to October 24th. And then some upcoming events. We talked about the birthday bash on August 15th. We recently had to make some more adjustments, excuse me. So that event is now going to be more virtual with different virtual activities. We are going to have a drive-through packet pickup at the park on the 14th of August. And then we've just completed one of our Movies on Main series in the summer. We've got another one that's coming up at the end of August. We're also doing our popsicles in the park again this month. We just completed 3 events. We've got a couple more. And then we've got tournaments scheduled essentially through November to Thanksgiving. And we've had tournaments pretty much every single weekend for the past month. So we're rocking and rolling again. Obviously, we're putting in, you know, our protocols and safety measures, you know, with COVID as well. Does anybody have any questions as far as any of the program updates?
Anyone? All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next is Chip with park maintenance.
Hi, everybody. Chip Eggers. Just real quick, we've managed to keep up with landscaping and mowing just about without a hitch, minus we had a little 3-week window of slowing in landscaping with some personnel issues that we finally got ironed out. So we'll be getting back to our summer planting throughout town and getting back over to the butterfly garden. George, I know that was a topic of interest for you. That's going to be the first priority after we get downtown replanted for the summer, then we'll move back over to butterfly garden. So again, managed to stay ahead of all of our mowing. We fought quite a bit of vandalism throughout the parks this season, mostly due, I'm sure, to just a lot of kids with a lot of extra time on their hands. Vandalism such as, you know, just typical graffiti, break-ins into restrooms, restroom damage. Moving furniture to places it's not supposed to be, and a couple of people deciding that driving their vehicles in the parks is a cool thing to do. So, typical day in the parks. With the less field usage, since we didn't have any of our spring leagues, we did take advantage of that time. We did some minor restorations over at Waterloo Baseball and over at Munson North Field. Some of those restorations included new bases, new clay base underneath, and a sandy conditioner mix to help with drainage in the future. And hopefully that's going to allow us to recover from rainouts a little bit faster and get us back in instead of 2 or 3 days after rain, hopefully day after. That's the hope. So Andrew had mentioned, you know, we had to move our inclusive ceremony at THF Park. So obviously that stands to reason that we did finish the playground additions there at THF Park. I think you'll remember those from the last meeting. We were talking about getting the multi-use rocker, where that's an inclusive piece of equipment that those with and without disabilities can get on and share and use at the same time. A wheelchair swing that users can actually wheel onto and use. And then there are also safety swings installed, and all with the pour-in-place servicing that matches what's already out there at THF. Any questions about what I've discussed there in parks?
No, sir. Okay, let's move right along. Thank you.
cemeteries. We had some cleanup efforts in Magnolia Cemetery and Oakwood Cemetery. Those just included tree trimming, some fence line cleaning, and some minor fence repairs. Oakwood is just about done, and we have started at Magnolia, projecting another week and a half, and we should be done with those cleanup efforts at Magnolia. We had over at Lane Kaufman Cemetery, there is a family organization, a family and a neighborhood organization that has wanted to step up and make additional, that they wanted to help maintain that cemetery over and above just the every other week maintenance that it gets. So they are taking on, they've gone through the adopt a park process. They're transplanting some of the irises that have taken over, putting them into places where they make more sense. Light power washing of some of the statues out there. Some of the broken markers. This is a very old cemetery. Some of the broken markers that have fallen over and started to crumble, they've gone back in and have lifted those up and put bases underneath them. Not reassembling them, just setting them back up on a base so that they don't become squished down into the dirt and lost forever. They've done some gate ornamentation, additional posts and decorative chains. And just some normal cleaning, raking, and light upkeep out there. We're excited to have them out there. That's about it for cemeteries.
How often are those cemeteries maintained? Did you say every couple weeks or so?
When I say maintain, there is a mowing outsource that goes there on average every other week to maintain. That is mowing and weed eating in the cemeteries. Annually, pardon me, annually we'll go through and do a light tree trimming.
Okay. Perfect.
Any other comments or questions? All right, do we have another report?
Yes, that would be for me, Brandy. I just was wondering do y'all have any feedback on the monthly report or on the monthly infographic? Is there anything else y'all would like to see with that?
I don't think so. Not from my point of view. Joel or Marshall?
No, you were asking about the month, what you guys sent out to us, what you sent out for us to look at.
Yes, the one I send every month, the infographic.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yes.
No, it looks good. I mean, I'll look at it and read it. So I mean, it's good. I appreciate it.
How do you all feel about the use of kayaks down at Waterloo Lake? How you feel that's going well, or?
They're heavily used.
Good.
I know we have different reports we could tie into, but I think simply said we could just say that they're used a lot.
Good.
Do we have an update on possible paddle boards being added to that?
We have 2 paddle boards that are out there.
Okay.
Good.
We have 2 paddle boards, 3 of the tandem kayaks, and 3 of the single kayaks.
Cool. 2
Good.
paddle boards.
Make a comment about the Haiti Trail. I was out there walking on it about a month ago and then riding my bike up and down the part that's completed a couple of times. It's nice. Very nice thing to have in town.
Yep.
I can't wait for the rest of it to open up.
Yeah, we're all excited. I know we all talk to different people in the community. They're equally as enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
So stay tuned. We'll tie you guys into any grand opening plans once we get closer to that.
Appreciate it. Yeah, good. I have a question about like Waterloo Lake. I know the wildlife, fish and wildlife, they used to manage it, or do they still do that? Like, I guess I'm asking like, what is the health of that lake, like as far as for fishing? And I know it's good, I think, but do they still do that like every year or every other year, come out and kind of do a management, shock it and all that type stuff they used to do? Do they still do that stuff?
Hey, Joel, it's Andrew. So actually they do. As a matter of fact, they come out a couple of times in the past, I want to say about 4 to 5 years. And
Okay.
On the shock and survey, And actually, the results from the survey were pretty impressive.
Yeah.
I don't hear that all the time from people that are necessarily bank fishing or fishing from a boat. That's the fishing.
Yeah.
But the the rate of catch of bass was actually pretty tremendous and one of the highest in the region.
Nice. Good.
So it's reproducing very well.
Good.
As are the Canada geese.
Yes, they are.
Awesome. That's good.
We had a bumper crop of them this year.
Yeah.
So
It seems like the little pond up there works out pretty well. Does that work out pretty good with the stocking of the catfish and stuff in there versus the trout and all that going into the big lake? Is that better?
Absolutely. The catch rate, for the people that are participating in the events and just, fun fishing is way better than, trying to fish 52 acres.
Yeah, right.
There's been some events in the past where, they stocked the trout in the lake and maybe like 5 trout were caught the whole event.
Oh, yeah.
Like 1,000 now. So.
Yeah, that's good. Cool. That's good.
I saw something in the paper about Loy Lake, that some plans were going ahead for remediating the trails over there. Does Parks and Rec have anything to do with that?
The trails specifically, I'm not familiar with that. We're looking into moving forward to have Loy Lake to take that over. So I'm sorry, I didn't read the article, so I couldn't specifically speak to that. But those are the conversations right now.
Okay, very good.
Nice.
I kind of thought that was what was going on, but I wasn't sure. Hey, do we have any other comments or questions? And I have a move to adjourn the meeting. Joel, is that you?
Yep, that's me.
And I'll second that.
Marshall seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
We appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. Michael. Marshall, see you. Thank you, guys.
Thank y'all.
You're welcome. Take care now. Bye-bye.